Most people spend their entire lives waiting for the perfect moment, waiting until they feel confident enough, smart enough, talented enough, prepared enough. They keep telling themselves, one day I'll start. One day I'll chase my dream. One day I'll become who I'm meant to be. But let me tell you something that can change your life forever. That perfect moment does not exist. It never has, and it never will. The people you admire, the people living extraordinary lives, the people building businesses, changing the world, transforming themselves, they were not ready when they started. They were scared. They were uncertain. They doubted themselves, but they moved anyway. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is action in the presence of fear. You don't become confident before you begin. Confidence is created through movement. Strength is built through resistance. Growth comes through discomfort. The greatest transformation of your life will happen the moment you stop waiting for permission and start taking responsibility for your future. Right now, there is a dream inside you that has been waiting for your decision, not your excuses, not your overthinking your decision, because a single decision can alter the direction of your entire life. One choice to stop settling, one choice to stop playing small, one choice to take action even when your hands are shaking. Understand this. The mind will always try to protect you from uncertainty. It will tell you to wait. It will tell you to stay comfortable. It will tell you that failure is dangerous. But comfort has destroyed more dreams than failure ever will. Every day you stay inside your comfort zone, your potential gets smaller. Every day you delay action, fear grows stronger. You were not born to live trapped by hesitation. You were born with power, creativity, energy, and purpose. But those gifts mean nothing if you never use them. Your future is not built by what you know. It is built by what you do. Think about every major breakthrough in your life. Every relationship, every achievement, every opportunity started with uncertainty. You took the first step before you had all the answers. Nobody starts as an expert. Nobody begins fully prepared. Mastery comes after repetition. Success comes after failure. Confidence comes after action. The problem is that people want guarantees before they move. They want certainty before commitment. But life does not reward hesitation. Life rewards courage. The universe responds to movement. Doors begin to open when you decide to walk forward despite fear. You cannot steer a parked car. Momentum only happens when you move. Even a small step forward creates energy. A single action creates belief. A single victory creates momentum, and momentum changes everything. Some of you are carrying dreams that have been buried under years of doubt. You've convinced yourself that you missed your chance, that you're too old, too late, too inexperienced, too broken. That is a lie. Your past does not define your future unless you let it. Every day is a new opportunity to decide who you become. Stop asking whether you're ready. Ask yourself whether you're willing to grow, willing to fail, willing to learn, willing to fight for the life you deserve. Because the truth is, greatness belongs to those who act before they feel prepared. Fear will always be there. Doubt will always whisper in your ear. But courage means refusing to let fear make your decisions. You have to train yourself to move forward despite uncertainty. That is where power is born. Every successful person you admire once stood exactly where you are standing now, uncertain, nervous, overwhelmed. The difference is they did not allow fear to stop them. They understood that action creates clarity. You do not figure out your entire future before you begin. You discover it while moving. Your dreams are waiting on the other side of discomfort. Your future is waiting on the other side of fear. Your growth is waiting on the other side of action. But none of it happens until you decide to begin. There comes a moment in life when you must stop negotiating with your excuses, a moment when you realize that your excuses are costing you your destiny. And in that moment, you either choose comfort or courage, average or extraordinary, fear or freedom. The most dangerous thing you can do is spend your life preparing without ever starting. Perfectionism is often just fear wearing a disguise. You do not need perfect conditions. You need commitment. You need belief. You need the willingness to take one step, then another, then another. You are capable of more than you realize. There is a stronger version of you waiting to emerge, but that version only appears through action, not through wishing, not through wait action. The future belongs to people who move before they feel ready. The future belongs to people who trust themselves enough to begin. The future belongs to people who understand that courage is the gateway to transformation. So take the step, make the call, start the business, write the book, apply for the opportunity, speak up, show up. Bet on yourself, because years from now, the pain of discipline will feel nothing compared to the pain of regret. Your life can change in a single moment, but first you must find the courage to start before you're ready. Most people spend years of their lives waiting for the perfect moment to finally begin. They wait for the right opportunity, the right amount of money, the right level of confidence, or the right circumstances before taking action. They tell themselves they will start when they feel ready, But the truth is that readiness is often an illusion created by fear. The human mind naturally seeks certainty because certainty feels safe. It wants guarantees that everything will work out before taking the first step, but life has never worked that way. The greatest opportunities, the biggest breakthroughs, and the most life-changing decisions often come wrapped in uncertainty. Think about how many dreams are abandoned not because people lack talent, but because they keep postponing action. People delay starting businesses because they think they need more experience. They avoid pursuing their goals because they think they need more confidence. They wait to improve their lives because they believe they need better timing. But the perfect timing they are waiting for never arrives. Life keeps moving, and while they wait for ideal conditions, opportunities pass them by. The reality is that nobody feels fully prepared before doing something meaningful. Every person who achieved greatness once stood in a place of uncertainty. Every successful entrepreneur once questioned whether they were capable. Every athlete once doubted their ability. Every speaker once felt nervous before stepping onto a stage. What separates extraordinary people from average people is not the absence of fear or doubt. It is the willingness to move forward despite those emotions. Waiting for perfection is dangerous because perfection does not exist. There will always be another reason to delay. If it is not money, it will be time. If it is not time, it will be confidence. If it is not confidence, it will be fear of failure. The excuses may change, but the result remains the same: inaction. And inaction slowly destroys dreams. The longer people wait, the more fear grows in their minds. Doubt becomes stronger. Excuses become more convincing, and the comfort zone becomes harder to escape. Many people believe successful individuals started because they had certainty, but certainty is actually created after action begins. Confidence is built through experience. Strength is built through struggle. Knowledge grows through mistakes and learning. Nobody becomes prepared by standing still. Preparation comes from movement. You learn by doing, not by endlessly thinking about doing. Imagine if every successful person had waited until they felt completely ready. Countless inventions would never exist. Powerful businesses would never have been built. Inspirational leaders would never have spoken up. Entire lives would remain unchanged because fear convinced people to stay comfortable. Greatness has always belonged to those who decided to act before certainty appeared. Life rewards courage, not hesitation. The moment you stop waiting for perfect conditions and start taking action, your entire energy changes. Opportunities begin to appear because movement creates momentum. Even small steps forward build belief within yourself. Every action proves that you are stronger than your excuses. The perfect moment is a myth that keeps people trapped in average lives. There is no magical day when fear disappears and confidence suddenly arrives. The right moment is created the instant you decide to begin. The people who transform their lives are not the people who wait the longest. They are the people who understand that growth starts the moment they take action despite uncertainty. Fear is one of the most powerful emotions a human being can experience. It can stop people from speaking their truth, chasing their dreams, taking risks, or becoming the person they were meant to be. Fear whispers dangerous lies into the mind. It says you are not good enough. It says you will fail. It says people will judge you, reject you, or laugh at you. And because fear feels so real, most people spend their lives obeying it. They shrink their goals, lower their standards, and settle for less than they deserve simply because fear convinced them it was safer to stay where they are. But courage is not about eliminating fear. Courage is the decision to act even while fear is present. The strongest people in the world are not fearless. They simply refuse to let fear control their actions. They understand that fear is a natural part of growth. Whenever you step outside your comfort zone, fear will appear because your mind is entering unfamiliar territory. That fear does not mean you are weak, it means you are growing. Every major transformation in life requires courage. It takes courage to start over after failure. It takes courage to pursue a dream nobody else understands. It takes courage to walk away from toxic situations, to believe in yourself when others doubt you, and to continue fighting when life becomes difficult. Courage is what separates people who merely survive from people who truly live. Most people think they need confidence before they take action, but confidence is actually the result of courage. You become confident after you face fear repeatedly. Every time you take action despite fear, you send a message to yourself that you are stronger than your doubts. That is how self-belief is built. Not through comfort, but through challenge. Fear has destroyed countless dreams because people misunderstand it. They assume fear is a stop sign when it is often a signal pointing toward growth. Think about the moments in your life that changed you the most. They were probably moments that scared you at first. Speaking in public, taking a chance on a new opportunity, starting something unknown, trusting yourself during uncertainty. Those moments felt uncomfortable because growth always feels uncomfortable in the beginning. The danger comes when fear becomes your leader. If fear controls your decisions, your world becomes smaller every year. You stop taking risks. You stop chasing possibilities. You become trapped inside routines that feel safe but leave you unfulfilled. A comfortable life without growth eventually becomes painful because deep inside, you know you are capable of more. Courage changes everything because action weakens fear. The more you avoid fear, the stronger it becomes. But the more you confront it, the smaller it gets. Fear feeds on hesitation. It grows in silence and overthinking. The moment you take action, fear begins losing its power over you. You do not need to feel fearless to move forward. You simply need to decide that your dreams matter more than your fear. The truth is that every successful person has experienced uncertainty, rejection, setbacks, and doubt. What made them different was their willingness to continue anyway. There will always be reasons to stay comfortable. There will always be excuses to wait. But courage means understanding that the life you want exists outside the boundaries of comfort. It means trusting yourself enough to move even when the outcome is uncertain. Because in the end, courage is not about knowing everything will work out perfectly. It is about believing you are strong enough to handle whatever happens next. Most people believe confidence is something you either have or you do not have. They look at successful individuals and assume those people were naturally confident from the beginning. They think confidence appears before action, but the truth is completely opposite. Confidence is built through movement. It is created step by step, action by action, challenge by challenge. Nobody wakes up one day filled with unstoppable belief without first going through discomfort, uncertainty, and failure. The reason so many people stay stuck in life is because they are waiting to feel confident before they begin. They say things like, I'll start when I believe in myself more, or I'll take action once I stop being nervous. But confidence does not come from thinking about success. It comes from experiencing progress. The moment you take action, even a small action, you begin training your mind to see yourself differently. Every step forward becomes evidence that you are capable. Think about learning any skill in life. Nobody starts as an expert. The first time someone speaks in front of a crowd, they may shake with fear. The first time someone starts a business, they may feel overwhelmed. The first time someone enters a gym, they may feel insecure. But repetition changes everything. The speaker becomes stronger with every presentation. The entrepreneur becomes wiser with every challenge. The athlete becomes more powerful with every workout. Confidence is not born instantly. It is developed through consistent action. Movement creates momentum, and momentum changes your identity. When you repeatedly take action despite fear, your mind begins to realize that you are stronger than you once believed. Every challenge you face successfully rewires your mindset. Slowly, the person who once doubted themselves becomes someone who trusts their ability to adapt and overcome obstacles. The problem is that many people overestimate the importance of feeling ready and underestimate the power of starting small. They believe they need huge breakthroughs to change their lives, but often it begins with one small decision repeated consistently over time. One workout leads to another. One video leads to another. One opportunity leads to another. Massive success is usually the result of small actions performed consistently with belief and persistence. When people avoid action, they weaken themselves mentally. Fear grows stronger in stillness. Doubt grows stronger in hesitation. Overthinking creates imaginary problems that often never happen in reality. The longer someone waits, the more difficult the first step feels. But once movement begins, energy changes. Action creates clarity. Action creates learning. Action creates confidence. There is something powerful that happens when you prove to yourself that you can survive discomfort. Every time you do something difficult, your standards rise. You begin seeing yourself as someone capable of growth. That internal shift is life-changing because your identity shapes your future. If you see yourself as weak, you will avoid challenges. But if you see yourself as someone who takes action despite fear, you become unstoppable. Confidence is not built by staying comfortable. It is built through experience. Failure plays a major role in this process because every setback teaches resilience. Every obstacle teaches problem solving. Every mistake teaches wisdom. People who fear failure often never realize that failure itself is one of the greatest builders of confidence. When you survive difficult moments, you stop fearing them as much. The strongest confidence is not loud arrogance or pretending to have no fear. Real confidence is quiet certainty built through experience. It is knowing that even if things become difficult, you can handle it because you have faced challenges before. That belief only comes through movement. The moment you stop waiting to feel confident and start taking action anyway, your life begins to transform. Every action strengthens your mind. Every challenge expands your limits. Every step forward builds the confidence you were searching for all along. Comfort feels safe in the beginning, but over time it becomes one of the most dangerous places a person can live. The comfort zone is seductive because it protects you from failure, rejection, and bare uncertainty. Inside that space, everything feels predictable. You know what to expect, and your mind convinces you that staying there is the smartest choice. But what most people fail to realize is that comfort may protect you from temporary pain while silently stealing your future at the same time. Human beings are designed to grow, evolve, and challenge themselves. Deep inside every person is a desire to become more, achieve more, and experience more out of life. But growth and comfort cannot exist together for long. The moment life becomes too comfortable, progress begins to slow down, dreams become smaller, ambition weakens, energy disappears slowly. People begin settling for lives far below their true potential. Many people stay trapped in situations they know are making them unhappy simply because change feels uncomfortable. They remain in careers they hate, relationships that drain them, and routines that leave them feeling empty. Not because they lack ability, but because comfort creates fear of the unknown. The familiar feels safer than uncertainty, even when the familiar is painful. This is how people spend years living beneath their capabilities without realizing how much potential they are sacrificing. The comfort zone is dangerous because it creates the illusion of security while quietly limiting your growth. Every dream requires discomfort. Every breakthrough demands risk. Every transformation forces you to step into uncertainty. You cannot become stronger physically without pushing your muscles beyond their limits. In the same way, you cannot become mentally, emotionally, or financially stronger without challenging yourself beyond what feels easy. Most people avoid discomfort because they associate it with suffering, but discomfort is often a sign of progress. The nervousness before trying something new, the fear before taking a big step, the pressure of responsibility, these feelings are not signs that you should stop. They are signs that you are entering a new level of growth. The people who achieve extraordinary things understand this. They train themselves to become comfortable being uncomfortable. Think about how powerful your life could become if you stopped running from difficult situations. Every challenge you avoid weakens your confidence. Every challenge you face strengthens your character. The comfort zone may feel peaceful today, but eventually it creates regret. One of the greatest pains in life is realizing you were capable of more, but never gave yourself the chance to discover it. Potential means nothing if it is never used. There are countless talented people in the world living average lives because they never stepped outside their comfort zones. Talent alone is never enough. Intelligence alone is never enough. The willingness to face discomfort is what unlocks human potential. Growth requires uncertainty because uncertainty forces adaptation. When you challenge yourself, you discover abilities you never knew existed. You learn how resilient you are. You become mentally tougher. You develop discipline, courage, and self-belief. None of those qualities are developed through comfort. They are built through struggle, persistence, and repeated exposure to difficult situations. The truth is that every level of life demands a different version of you. If you want greater success, greater confidence, greater freedom, or greater fulfillment, you must become someone stronger than you are today. That transformation cannot happen while remaining inside the boundaries of comfort. You have to stretch yourself mentally, emotionally, and physically. You have to risk failure, criticism, and uncertainty. The comfort zone promises safety, but it often leads to stagnation. Real fulfillment comes from growth, contribution, and progress. The moment you stop allowing comfort to control your decisions, you begin unlocking the strength, courage, and potential that have been waiting inside you all along. Action is one of the most powerful forces in human life because action creates momentum, and momentum has the ability to completely transform a person's future. The hardest part of any journey is almost always the beginning. Starting feels difficult because the mind is filled with uncertainty, fear, and doubt. People overthink every possible outcome, imagining failure before they even begin. But what they fail to understand is that clarity, confidence, and strength are rarely found before action. They are discovered through movement. Momentum works like a chain reaction. One small action leads to another. One decision creates energy. One victory, no matter how small, builds belief. The moment a person takes the first step, something shifts internally. They stop seeing themselves as someone who only dreams and begin seeing themselves as someone who acts. That identity shift is powerful because your actions shape your self-image, and your self-image shapes your future. Most people stay trapped not because they lack potential, but because they never create momentum. They think too much and move too little. They wait for motivation instead of understanding that motivation often appears after action begins. Action creates emotional energy. Once movement starts, the mind becomes more focused, fear begins to weaken, and opportunities become more visible. Think about how difficult it feels to push a heavy object when it is standing still. The beginning requires the most effort. But once it starts moving, keeping it in motion becomes easier. Human behavior works the same way. In the beginning, taking action requires discipline and courage. But after consistent movement, momentum takes over, habits form, confidence grows, progress accelerates. Transformation never happens overnight. It is the result of repeated actions over time. Every successful person built momentum through consistency. They kept showing up even when results were slow. They continued moving even when they felt uncertain. Small actions repeated daily eventually create massive change. A person who improves 1% every day can completely transform their life within a year. The danger of inaction is that it creates negative momentum. When people delay action, procrastination becomes a habit, fear becomes stronger, excuses multiply. The longer someone stays inactive, the harder it becomes to start. Negative momentum traps people in cycles of doubt, low confidence, and frustration. That is why taking even a small step forward is so important. Small actions interrupt negative patterns and begin creating positive energy. Action also creates learning. Many people waste years trying to plan the perfect path before they begin, but no amount of thinking can replace real experience. You learn by doing. Mistakes teach lessons that theory never can. Every setback contains valuable feedback. Every obstacle develops resilience. Movement teaches skills, builds wisdom, and sharpens character. Momentum changes not only your results, but also your mindset. As you continue taking action, you begin to trust yourself more deeply. You realize you are capable of handling challenges that once seemed impossible. Problems that once intimidated you become manageable because experience has strengthened your confidence. This is how transformation happens from the inside out. There is also a contagious power in momentum. When you begin improving yourself, other areas of your life often improve as well. One disciplined habit leads to another. Increased confidence affects relationships, health, career, and personal growth. Energy expands into every part of life because action creates a sense of purpose and direction. Many people are waiting for a dramatic moment that will instantly change everything, but transformation is usually built through ordinary actions performed consistently. Waking up earlier, practicing discipline, taking risks, learning new skills, speaking with confidence, staying committed during difficult times. These small daily actions eventually create extraordinary results. The people who change their lives are not necessarily the most talented or the most intelligent. They are often the people who mastered momentum. They understood that action creates progress. Progress creates belief, and belief creates transformation. Once momentum begins, an entirely different version of yourself starts to emerge, stronger, more focused, more disciplined, and more capable than you ever imagined. At the end of the day, your future will not be decided by your excuses, your fears, or the perfect conditions you keep waiting for. It will be decided by your willingness to act. Every great transformation begins with a moment of courage, a moment when someone chooses growth over comfort, action over hesitation, and belief over doubt. The truth is that you already have everything within you to begin. You do not need to know every step ahead. You only need the courage to take the next one. There will always be uncertainty. There will always be risks. But there is an even greater risk in spending your life trapped by fear and wondering what could have happened if you had trusted yourself enough to start. The people who create extraordinary lives are not the ones who wait until they feel ready. They are the ones who move forward despite fear, learn through action, and refuse to let discomfort define their limits. Every challenge you face is shaping you into someone stronger. Every step forward is building confidence, momentum, and resilience. The moment you stop waiting for permission and decide to take control of your life, everything begins to change. Your mindset changes. Your energy changes. Your future changes. You were not born to live a small life filled with hesitation and regret. You were born with potential power and the ability to create something meaningful. But your dreams will only become reality when you stop standing on the sidelines and step into action. So trust yourself. Take the risk. Embrace the discomfort. Start before you feel ready. Because the life you want is not waiting for you someday in the future. It begins the moment you decide that fear will no longer control who you become.